Opposed? Motion carries. Now we need approval of the minutes for December 16th, 2021 for the Board of Adjustment.
I move that the minutes of December 16, 2021 be approved.
Do I hear a second?
I
All in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion has carried. All right, Mr. Solicitor, it's all over you right now.
Thank you. Is Mr. Lawless, I'd like for Mr. Lawless to appear in the screen, please, because we're recording this.
Do you have us, both of us?
Now we got you both. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. This is the date, time, and place scheduled for a public hearing before the Board of Adjustment of the Town of Ocean View for application V426 at 59 Central Avenue. The application was submitted by the property owners Ronald J. and Denise Anderson, and it is for 3 variances from the town code. Before we begin, I'm going to ask Ms. Schwartz if you will raise your right hand, unmute yourself. And do you swear, Donna Schwartz, that the testimony you're about to give the Board of Adjustment of the Town of Ocean View is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Semino, will you likewise raise your right hand and state your name for the record?
Kenneth L. Semino.
Mr. Semino, do you testify or do you swear the testimony you're about to give the Board of Adjustment of the Town of Ocean View is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good. Ms. Schwartz, would you be kind enough to tell for the record that this property has been posted, that notices were sent to adjacent property, and that advertisings were made in a newspaper of local general circulation? Is that all true?
That is true.
And there is a record of all that contained in the town's file in your office. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Semino, do you have any comments that you'd like to make?
Yeah, I do. Application V426 submitted by the property owners Ronald J. and Denise Anderson for a property zoned R1 Single Family Residential District located at 59 Central Avenue. Property identification number 221.000, county tax map number 134-13.00-627.00. The property owners are requesting variance from the following town codes. Article 5, Section 140-28, in order to maintain and expand an existing dwelling unit that projects into the required 15-foot side yard setback. Article 5, Section 140-32, in order to maintain and expand an existing attached accessory structure, which is a porch, that projects into the required 15-foot side yard setback. Article 2, Section 187-10A, and Article 16, Section 140-100-D12B. Article 2, 187-10A states the total width of a driveway within the limits of the town right-of-way on a single lot shall not exceed 20 feet. Driveways shall be placed within 5 feet of a property line. Article 16, 140-100-D12B states the driveway shall be a minimum of 5 feet from any property line and shall have a maximum width of 20 feet. Property owner proposes to construct a driveway with a width of 20 feet, which exceeds the code permitted 20 feet maximum width when considered in conjunction with the portion of existing driveway that serves as a shared access with the neighboring parcel. So the town has the following. The applicant is seeking 3 variances. And I don't know if you board members have your plans out or if you've looked at them. But if you do have your plans out, as you will see, this is an extremely odd shaped lot. Really, the applicant has done a wonderful job working with planning staff to fit in his improvements with the least amount of encroachment into the setbacks, although the existing dwelling already encroaches into the setback. As I said, the applicant is seeking 3 variances. 1, the existing dwelling, I believe, was constructed in 1979, from what we could tell from property records. The dwelling unit encroaches into the side yard setback. The addition at the rear of the dwelling unit will will expand this nonconformity. The addition is staying true to the lines of the house right now. So it's really just, it is an extension of the existing nonconformity, but it's actually getting smaller because of the way the nonconformity is getting smaller because of the way the house currently sits on the lot. Number two, the existing dwelling and porch were constructed in 1979. The porch extension will not cause any further encroachment into the side yard setback. An administrative variance has been granted for the encroachment into the front yard setback. In number three, the existing driveway was constructed with a dwelling unit in 1979. Since it is a shared driveway with, I believe, 61 Central Avenue, a new driveway is proposed for the opposite side of the dwelling. The Delaware Department of Transportation has granted the applicant an entrance permit for this driveway. I just want to conclude my remarks by saying that since this dwelling unit and this lot is oddly shaped, the orientation of the dwelling unit is kind of oddly shaped and confined in the property, the Office of Planning, Zoning, and Development does not have any objections to these improvements.
Before we go any
Mr.
further,
Sim-
let me just put on the record that there was made available to all members of the Board of Adjustment, the staff, to the applicant, and any person who took the time to go online with the town's webpage. All of the documents that are being referred to this evening were available to everyone in advance of this public meeting. And all of those documents, which would include a survey prepared by True North, a written copy of Mr. Semino's comments, a copy of portions of the Ocean View Land Use and Development Code, and the application of the applicants were all made available to all the parties that I just described. Are there any questions of Mr. Semino from members of the Board of Adjustment?
I'd just like to clarify that this is an Old Town Ocean View, correct?
That's correct. It's north of Route
Thank you.
26.
Thank you.
I have a quick question for Ken. Ken, you said this existing dwelling was constructed in 1979. Was it in compliance at that time?
Yes, everything when it was constructed was compliant.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of Mr. Semino? I'm going to invite Mr. Anderson. Ms. Anderson, which of you will be speaking on your behalf?
Me, Ronald Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, I noticed that you may be in a car or a truck. Is that right?
Yes, I'm at Daytona International Speedway getting ready to go into the Twin 125. So yeah,
Well, let's hope that you're parked for the moment because I'm going to ask
we
you to
are. I'm in the passenger seat.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and state your name for the record, please.
Ronald J. Anderson Jr.
Mr. Anderson, do you swear the testimony you're about to give the Board of Adjustment of the town of Ocean View is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And Ms. Anderson, I'm going to do the same for you, if you will, please. Raise your right hand. State your name for the record.
Denise Anderson.
Do you swear the testimony that you're about to give the Board of Adjustment of the town? I got to keep the right hand up.
Sorry.
That's all right. We wouldn't want you to have void testimony now, would we?
No, we would not.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give the Board of Adjustment of the town of Ocean View is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I did.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson, you may, if you will, please give your additional comments to what Mr. Semino had to say.
I really don't have any additional comments other than, we bought the property hoping that, we're able to put a second story addition on to add more living space. I don't know if you're familiar with the property of the house. It's, they call it a 2-bedroom house. It's a 1-bedroom house. And it's just the way it is right now will not meet our needs. So, we wanted to add, a second story addition to add, some bedrooms and more living space and improve the property. New siding, new windows.
Mr. Semino indicated that the house was built in 1979. Did you just recently build or buy this house?
Okay, and I could be wrong. I thought the house was built in 1938, but that's beside the point. Yes,
I
we
thought
just
so
recently
too,
bought
but-
the house and
I'm sorry, Mr.
yes,
Semino?
I'd seen paperwork somewhere that it said it was originally built in 1938. And I believe an addition was put on in the late 70s, early 80s. I believe. I don't know that as a fact, but I know I've read it somewhere that it was built in 1938. But no, I bought the house in August. I believe it was August 22nd of 2021.
And Mr. Semino, all the conditions that you described are all pre-existing conditions prior to the enactment of zoning in Ocean View, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And I think Mr. Anderson is right. The house was built so long ago, we had a tough time tracking down the actual build date. I did see a permit for an addition in the file, but that was it.
I
The
believe the
county tax
first,
records have it listed as 1979.
I believe the first zoning code was enacted in 1975. So anything before 1975 would make all of it a non-conforming use. Mr. Anderson, I take it that because you have such an unusually shaped lot and a shared driveway with, is it Rickards Real Estate?
Yes, Jim Rickard. Yep.
That it has made it extremely difficult for you to develop this property, is that correct?
Correct.
Do you have an opinion as to whether or not what you propose to do and it would in any way impair the ability of any other properties near you or adjacent to you to be used by the owners in a normal fashion and in compliance with the code?
I'm sorry, I missed the very first part of what you said. The sound has gone off and on my iPad. I apologize.
Not a problem. My question sort of went like this: because of the unusual shape of the property, does it impair your ability to develop the property as you would normally in a zoning district such as yours? That's the first
Right.
question. You would agree that do you agree that that is the case?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, and secondly, do you think that if you develop this property as you plan, it will have any effect on the ability of your neighbors to enjoy the use of their properties?
Not at all. If anything, I think it would enhance it.
Do you think that this will be compatible with the adjacent neighborhood? Your
Absolutely.
project? Is there anything else you would like to add? Will it impair values of your neighbors?
I would think it would improve values. I mean, the house is, definitely going to be worth a lot more than what it is right now by all the improvements we're going to do to it. So I would think that would help the neighbors.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Anderson?
No, sir.
Ms. Anderson, at the risk of offending your husband who's at Daytona, would
Yeah,
you like to add anything? It'll take him a couple days to get back to get even with you if you do.
no, no,
Mhm.
I agree with everything he says.
Are there any?
I'm
That's
sorry.
fine. Are there any questions of the applicant by any members of the Board of Adjustment?
My one question would be either Mr. or Mrs. Anderson, is this on the same side as the Presbyterian Church?
Yes,
As
ma'am.
you are going north? Would it
Yes,
be on the
ma'am.
same side? Excuse me, yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank
It's
you.
on the right-hand side heading north. Correct.
Correct, thank you.
I believe I have Steve and Ann Anderson on the line.
Edmonds.
Edmonds.
Excuse me. I was reading the wrong line. I need to swear you in. So if each of you will raise your right hand, state your name for the record, please.
Steve,
Ann Edmonds.
Edmonds, do you swear the testimony you are about to give the Board of Adjustment of the Town of Ocean View is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
we do.
We do.
Does one of you want to be the spokesman for your family?
I guess I will be. We're just here in total support of the Andersons. I do know the previous owner of that property, and he has owned that property for like 40 years. So that date on that is probably the date of that 1970 something is probably an addition that he added on. but that property has been neglected. It's been, he lives down the street on West Street now and has for many years, and he has rented that property. And it has been in disrepair and neglected for many, many years. So I've gotten to know Ron and Denise Anderson a little bit. They just bought the property a few months ago, but to our indication, it is just a blessing that someone's going to take that property and make it not an eyesore, which it has been for years. And the tenants, like I said, it's been a rental property, and not to cast dispersions on anybody, but not exactly the best renters in the world either. So we are very pleased that the Andersons are taking this step to improve that property.
Mr. Edmonds, have you had a chance to discuss with Mr. and Mrs. Anderson what they propose to do on the property?
I have, mainly with Ron Anderson, and several times on several occasions, he's kind of told me, you know, we have a shared property line, and we've had to work together on some of the trees that line that property line that kind of encroached on his property. So yes, I have had a chance to talk to him, and very neighborly, and we've discussed things, and I think all of his designs are very compatible with the neighborhood.
Do you agree with Mr. Anderson that it's not likely that what they propose would in any way devalue the other properties in the neighborhood?
No, it will enhance the properties tremendously.
And you're familiar with their property lines, and so you would agree with Mr. Anderson that because of the unusual shape of the property, he would have a difficult time complying with the zoning code. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It is a very weird setup between that piece of property and the Rickards property. Both those properties have a very unique plot, that's for sure.
Ms. Edmonds, I made you swear in. Would you like to add anything to what your husband said?
I think he's just spot on. So
That is the right answer, Ms. Edmonds.
I know.
We
Are there
haven't
any
gotten along. Go ahead.
Are there any questions of Mr. and Mrs. Edmonds from the board?
No,
And for Mr. Carter, are there any other persons participating in this meeting that I'm not aware of?
That's it.
There being no further participants and there being no further questions of the witnesses or of Mr. Semino, Madam Chair, I'm going to conclude the public hearing and return the floor to you for any vote that the Board of Adjustment may wish to make. I would suggest that you take 3 votes, one on each of the various.
that was my question. So you would like to have the 3, Article 5, 3 that you read to us that are here on our papers done individually, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do I hear a motion, gentlemen? Let's start with the first one, Article 5, 140-28.
Madam Chairperson, first, I want to congratulate the Andersons on their wisdom in moving to Ocean View. Welcome. We're delighted to have you here.
Thank
I
you.
move that we approve
Thank you.
Tell them what.
Thank you.
this Article 5, 140-28.
All right. May I, he's got, yes, Greg? Okay, do we have? in
I
favor?
move we approve.
You approved? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion has carried. Now
That's
let's
the
move on to
first.
the next one, Article 5, 140-32.
Your turn.
And man, I move we approve.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion has carried. And to the third, Article 187-10A
And 15 and 16.
and 16, yes.
Yeah, forget it.
Okay, they're all of these, yes. All right. We have motion,
I move that we approve both of these.
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Anderson.
Thank you.
Thank you
have
very
gotten
much.
it. You're
Thank
more than
you.
welcome. Thank you, Miss, for the Edmonds for participating and being here with
You're
us.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. I
Thank you,
truly-
Stephen.
Now-
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, before we all leave, I need a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
And I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion has carried. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you,
very
everybody.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.